Good afternoon, everybody. I am super glad that you are spending some time with me today. My name is Shelby Martin. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about what our fundraising plan is. Now, I know we've been trying to really start upping our fundraising game so we can get some better technology in the classrooms and things like that. Fundraising is not always an easy thing for schools to do, especially in areas where it is pretty low income or it's a very rural area. Sometimes fundraising isn't always the easiest thing to do. So I have developed a plan to kind of help with that issue and hopefully alleviate some of the stress of where we're going to get this money from. How are we going to raise the funds to do the things we want to do with our students? And that's the main thing. Our students' learning and our students' achievement is the thing that should always be in the back of our minds. So my plan that we are going to look at today has 5 simple steps. I say simple in a fun way, but it's a very basic plan. So step 1, of course, is to have a specific plan. Go into the fundraising world, or go into the idea of having a fundraiser with a plan. Don't just raise money because, oh, well, I want to have a rainy day fund, or, oh, well, what if we don't have this happening and we need this money? No, have a specific plan for the money that you raise in the fundraiser. If you are just raising money to raise money, parents or guardians or people involved in the community are not going to be as likely to want to donate to that. They need to know, hey, this is what we're going to do and this is our plan for the money. Let's line it out. So have a specific plan for it. Okay? So have a specific, let me go back to the other steps, sorry. Step 2, build a strong team. Step 3, communicate areas of need. So what areas does your school need help with? What areas can you improve in? Step 4, set reasonable goals for yourself. And then step 5, work with the community and to achieve and celebrate these goals. So figure out a way with the community to work towards the goal that you want to, and when you finally eventually reach that goal, celebrate that with the community. Okay? Alright, so back to step 1, so having a specific plan. These are just some key questions that I think are really important to keep in mind whenever you're thinking about starting a fundraiser. Is what are you raising the money for, of course. So if we are talking about raising money for smart boards or projectors or anything else that we might need technology-wise in the classroom, have that plan in mind. Tell the parents, tell the guardians, tell the community members who would potentially be donating to this fundraising campaign, what are we going to spend this money on? It's not just because we want a rainy day fund, it's because we have this need in this class and this is the way we can alleviate it. Okay? What is the benefit for the students? So how are the students going to benefit from this? Why do we need smart boards in classrooms? What is the educational benefit for our students? How will the funds be that are being raised be used specifically? So if you can give as much detail as possible on this is how we're going to use these funds, this is where your money is going, people are going to be more likely to donate. If we're just donating, it's like, oh, okay, I want to donate, but what am I donating to? So give them specifics. As the more detail you can give, the better. It will make people feel a lot more comfortable with donating money towards your specific need. Do you have the support of the community? If the answer to that is no, how can you garner support from that community? So what can you do to help get buy-in from all the stakeholders? That's where our PTA is going to come into play. So thinking about what power groups we have in the community and what areas our community have supported before, kind of keep that in mind when you're building your team, building your PTA. That's going to lead us into the next couple steps. Okay, and then how does the community know about the fundraiser? So how do we even tell the community, hey, we're having this fundraiser? What is our way of showing the community this is what we're doing? That could be having a kickoff event. So if we wanted to plan like a day in the park where we just celebrate, we had our teachers out there, we had hot dogs or some other food donated, and the families just came out and said, hey, this is what we're going to be doing, this is what we're raising money for. If you would like to help us in that cause, buy a $3 hot dog plate or buy a $3 hamburger plate, something super cheap, where the food is donated and the families can get a good meal out of it, hang out, and just have a fun day at the park. That would be a great way to kind of let your community know, hey, we're having this thing, we're doing this fundraiser. It would be really great if you could help us. So some sort of kickoff event would be a really good way to get started. Okay. All right, so step 2, building that team. So this is going to that PTA that I was talking about. Creating a strong PTA can come in a lot of forms. So PTA does not mean that it has to have all the richest families in your school on this committee or this group or anything like that. A good PTA is made up of parents who have the time to do things, want to do things, and are vocal enough to spread positive notes about your school or spread positive things about your school throughout the community. Look for those parents that have the time, that want to be involved in their child's educational upbringing and things like that. Look for grandparents who just want to be in some way, shape, or form involved. It doesn't necessarily have to be a parent. It can be a different type of guardian. So look for the people that have the time. Any member of the community could be on the PTA. They are involved with the school in a lot of different ways. So I think that having those parents, those guardians, those grandparents, whoever they may be, involved in the building of the fundraisers will help you out a lot. Make sure that you talk with this team. Let them know, hey, this is my goal, this is the need that we have, this is where my viewpoints are as a principal, and make sure that everybody understands what the need is. If you have 7 different people on your PTA committee, but they all have 7 different beliefs, then that's going to be kind of working in different things. So look for people who understand, hey, this is what we need to do for the betterment of our children's education. So keep that in mind when you're building your PTA. Okay, step 3, communicate areas of need. Again, tell your PTA, tell your team, this is what our students need, this is what our campus needs, this is the shortfall that we have. Tell them what we need. Be transparent about that. Now, understand that we're not going to be able to fix every single thing that our campus might need with one fundraiser. But look at how you can create a fundraiser and maybe roll things out in phases. So if you want to get smart boards for 15 classrooms, okay, 15 smart boards all at once is a big chunk of change. But if you communicate that need with your partners, your PTA, your fellow teachers, your grandparents, all the people that are involved in this fundraising event, then we can kind of talk about, all right, one big chunk of change is too much, but if we decide that we're going to do 1 smart board a month for the next 10 months, that's at least 10 of the 15 smart boards there. And if we can get enough community support, we might be able to do 2 smart boards in 1 month or 3 smart boards in 1 month, but looking for ways that we can say, hey, we don't want you to give us thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars up front, but can you give a little bit here and a little bit there to try and help us work towards our goal? Okay, that's moving into our next step, is setting reasonable goals. So again, buying 15 smart boards right off the bat is not going to be a small price tag. So it's going to take a lot of maneuvering, a lot of money, especially in an area where there is not a lot of high income families. We need to be able to justify, this is what we're trying to do, this is how it's going to benefit your kids. Yes, we understand it's expensive, and yes, we know we're asking for a lot, but how can we work together with the community, with the PTA, with the teachers on campus, with our admin, all the people that are involved in this crazy thing that's called public education? How can we work together to set a goal, to set a end point for our fundraiser? What is something that we can do to make it seem a lot not as, hey, we're just asking you for your money? Okay, that's why it's important for a PTA. When a principal goes to a business, a local business, and says, hey, this is what we're doing, would you be willing to donate? It can sometimes come off as, oh, well, this principal is just asking me for money. Or, oh, they just want money. That's all they ever want. They're not actually interested in partnering with us. They just want the money. That's not the case usually, okay? We know that as principals, we know that as educators, but sometimes the community may not see it that way, especially if there is a lack of support or a lack of teamwork between the community and the school. So having the PTA is another option for asking for money. So if you go as a principal to a business and just say, hey, this is what we're doing, I'm asking for money, it comes off differently from when a parent comes to this business and says, yeah, my kid's school is trying to do this, but we're having a little bit of trouble with the funding. I think this would be really cool because my kid's really excited to do XYZ. My kid wants to be a part of this. So finding the way to incorporate the community and find common ground. Find the, hey, we want to do this because it's what's going to be best for the kids, is what's important. Okay? So again, some key questions here is the goal attainable? Okay, as educators, we know T-tests, we have to set our goals. So did you set yourself an attainable goal? All right. How often will you have these fundraisers? So is this going to be a monthly fundraiser? Are you going to do it once every quarter? Are you going to do it once every semester? What are we going to do? How are we going to create those fundraisers, and what is the time frame of it? For the smart board situation, if we wanted to, say, raise enough money for one smart board each month, that would be a time period of 30 days. So in 30 days, we need to have this amount of money so that we can purchase the smart board and start phasing them into the classrooms. Another one is, what is the dollar amount needed to achieve? So set a visual, okay? We are educators. We know visuals are great. Create a fancy little Canva visual and say, hey, this is our goal. Put a little thermometer up there, and every time someone donates, you can make a post on your social media page. You could do some sort of newsletter or something to recognize, hey, thanks so much for this person. We've been able to check off another list, or we've been able to scratch off another part, or fill our meter up a little bit more, whatever your visual may be. But I think visuals help with the fundraising. People like to see, hey, I'm making a difference. It's that instant gratification. If you see that, yep, I just donated $15 or whatever it may be, and they were able to scratch off a little bit more in the thermometer that they were doing, trying to reach their goal, that's something that's nice. They can feel good about it. So having that visual can make people, feel a little bit better about their donations. Okay, and then how do we track that progress? Again, it's kind of like a visual thing. How do you keep track of who donated what? Is it a business? Is it an individual? Is it somebody who is partnering with a business? How do we track it? So having a tracker sheet, having a visual, something to let the community know this is where our money's going. All right, our final step, work with the community to achieve and celebrate those goals. So that's where this kind of kickoff thing comes into play. So if we are working with the community about what the needs of the campus are, we want to get their buy-in. So if we say to our community, hey, we have chalkboards, or we have dry erase boards, or we have all these things, but it would really, really help if we could have interactive smart boards in all of our classrooms, because our students would benefit from X, Y, Z. Explain to them, this is why we want to do it. We're not just wanting smart boards because they're cool. We're wanting smart boards because they are going to help benefit your students. They're going to help benefit in the fine motor skills. Can this second grade student come up and tap on the screen where the teacher has asked them to and circle that word or underline that word or do whatever the activity is? It gets students engaged. Just sitting there and reading the book or reading the board or something along those lines is not as engaging for our students. They need to have something to engage them. So it gets them actively involved in their learning. They're up, they're moving, they're doing the things. Communicating that kind of stuff might help our community buy in a little bit more. If they see a direct impact of how these things affect our students, their community members, their family members, then they're more likely to give a buy-in. Look at other schools and see how they've used certain equipment. If you're asking for things like a smart board where you can see examples of them being used in other campuses, other schools, other districts, and show that to the community. Say, hey, this is the cool stuff they can do with this really cool smart board. Don't we want to try and do the same thing? Their students are growing in these areas because they have these things. So using examples, giving visuals, giving real life situations is a good way to get buy-in. How will this benefit the community? What is the benefit for the community? If a business donates, are they going to get a shout out in the school newsletter? Are they going to get a shout out at the next football game? What is the benefit to the community? How does donating this money benefit them in any way, shape, or form? So showing them a little bit of, hey, thanks so much at this gathering at the end of the fundraiser or at the beginning. Say, hey, if you are able to donate, you're going to get a shout out at the next homecoming football game, or you're going to get a shout out at the next basketball game, or whatever sport is really big in your area. Most of the time in Texas, we know it's football, but what is something that you can do to kind of incentivize your community to be a part of this fundraiser? Okay, next is who is responsible for going out and reaching out to the community. That is why it is a team job. So having your PTA, your principals, your teachers, your other staff members who are involved in the community. Anybody can be or anybody can go out and ask for help in funding the school stuff. The main people who should be asking is our principals and our PTA. Those are the people that are directly involved in it. But our teachers, our other staff members, as long as you are aware of, hey, I know this fundraiser is going on, you can direct people, yeah, go talk to our PTA, go talk to our principal and let them know that you're interested in donating. That is a good way to get some more community buy-in. If people are just willing to talk about it, just talk about what is happening and how good it could be for our students. Okay? And then how does having community kickoffs or other celebrations help build positive relationships between the community and the school? Again, it's just recognizing people for the work they're doing. Education is a oftentimes thankless job, but we see so many different kids in so many different days on so many different levels. Recognizing that we as a community can band together to help better their education is something that's important and should be celebrated. So these are my 5 steps. Okay, education is a team sport. We have to work together in order to build good humans as they graduate. So making sure that they have the tools they need to be successful in class is a big part of that. So thank you for your time. I appreciate you listening to me. I look forward to working with you on building a super strong PTA and getting this fundraiser off and rolling. Thank you so much.